Morning, guys. Yeah, getting started working on the combine here this morning. We still got to get this sprocket off of this gearbox. I'm kind of running out of ideas. Jack said he had a better puller at his house. He was going to maybe bring up, I don't know if he's coming back today or not, but if he does, we'll see if we can use that and get it off. If not, I think I might just take it up to the dealer and have them rebuild it for me. I'll take them the parts that I got and let them mess with it because I'm struggling there. So what I want to work on this morning, well, I spent a little time cleaning up the floor and I cleaned off a little space on our bench. That tends to be a problem when I get into something like this, is that I get lots of little projects piled up on the bench and run out of space to work on stuff. But I want to take these shoe augers and put the new bearings on those here this morning. I've got a seed truck coming in about an hour. I've got to unload, and then this afternoon I'll crawl in there and do that shaft and then bearings that are kind of up behind the transmission in there. So yeah, I'm gonna set stuff up here on the bench and work on it. I think I'll set my GoPro up so you can kind of watch it that way too. I don't know if it'll be time lapse or straight video, but this should be fairly straightforward and easy to do. So that's the plan. Okay, I know you can't see my face here, but it gives you a pretty good view on the bench of what we're working on. Basically, what I've got to do is take this sprocket off the end. There's a roll pin in there, so I'm going to punch that out. Take this locking collar off, and then that should slide off the end of the shaft. There's 3 bolts that hold the bearing holder in place here. You can see how loose that is. And then this whole thing should come off. We may have to pull that bearing, we'll see. And then on this end, it's just a locking collar and pull the bearing off of there. So I'm going to start down here. I got to punch out this roll pin. Okay, pin it out. Now let's see if this will come off. Okay, I already loosened the set screw. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this bearing's really in bad shape. Alright, now we got to pull that. I'm going to clean the shaft up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a bearing puller. So this is a bearing puller. Basically, you put these hooks on this edges of this bearing, which I'm sure you can't see real well. I don't know how to put that so you can. Let me see if I can get it on, then I'll take another clip. Okay, so we got our roll pin out here, which then this gear come off. Locking collar. This is the bearing holder, and the bolts that hold it in place. So we've got to get this bearing off the shaft. I clean that up, and then we've got to basically pull this bearing off. So I got my bearing puller, it's got the 3 jaws locked on there, and I'm just going to tighten this screw and it'll push against the shaft and it should pull it off. We'll see how well it goes here. The problem here is this bearing is in such bad shape that it's not wanting to come off right. I can't get onto that. Okay. Alright, so I'm pulling this outer race off. It's pulling this apart here, and that's why my thing keeps popping off. So I'm going to have to get this off, and I think I'm going to have to cut it. And I think the easiest way to cut it is with a torch, which I don't really want to do, but I don't see much other way around it. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, cut this bearing race off. So I'm going to use a torch, get in some gloves. This piece we still need. Okay, so now all we gotta do is get that inner race out, which I might be able to get pulled out of that. Got it. That was a little more difficult than it needed to be. All right, shine that shaft back up, clean it up, put it back together with a new bearing. So this bearing is not actually bad, but it's one of those things that while you've got it apart, you change them both because it's so difficult to get stuff out of there. I'd love to keep working on this at the moment, but it's 10:30, I gotta go unload a seed truck. Well, that row of beans is what we got in today. Not too bad. And we're getting rid of our boxes that are empty from wheat here. There we go. How about that? Do you want a bearing? It's in rough shape now.
You needed that. You got just collar it, lock it,
Yeah.
or hold it on the end.
Okay, I got the old bearing off. Put this new one on, but I can't lock it in place until I know exactly where that's going to go. So that's going to have to be done in the combine when we put it back together. I also put this other end back together. This is the plate that mounts it in the front, the spacers, and then the bearing holder. And there's a locking collar on here. And basically what these locking collars do, I don't know if you can see it here or not, but see how it's not quite, let me get a good background. See how it's not symmetrical? It's a lot thicker on the inner over here than it is over here. Well, the bearing is the same way. See how it's thick and then thin? And so basically what this does is it fits on there, and you can slide it on when you get the right sides together, and then you twist it, and it locks that bearing in place. Otherwise, the shaft slides, and we need a way to lock it on there. So that's what that's for. Okay, I got 2 of the shoe augers. Bearings is replaced. I got 2 more to do. We're still working on getting this shaft out. I don't know if you can see in there. Not real well. Yeah, keep working on it this afternoon. It's funny how after you replace a set of them bearings on them shoe augers, it goes a lot faster after that because you know what you're doing. But anyway, it's lunchtime. I'm going to eat lunch. Okay, time to get this shaft out. We got locking collars off and the bearing holder on that side, but I'm going to crawl up in there and see what we got to do. All right, so we've got that bearing loose, ready to come out. This one here is holding this up, though. We got to get that locking collar off of there. Well, a little work with a cutoff wheel and a few choice words later, it's out. Well, it's amazing how much easier it is to work on stuff when it's sitting on your bench instead of crammed up underneath the feeder house on the combine. It took about 5 minutes to get these bearings off. And the reason that we had to do these is because of this bearing. You guys see that edge? Yeah. If you go back to my harvest videos, you'll remember I had a squeak in the combine. It was that bearing. That locking collar is supposed to sit on there, and it had nothing to seat against to lock. And so that's what our squeak was the shaft spinning inside this bearing, which it's not supposed to do. And yeah, that's why we're fixing it. I got these bearings changed, and I believe that this shaft can go back in. We did have to cut a couple of these hangers. I had one of them, I don't have the other one, but it goes on the outside, so we could put the shaft back in. I can't lock these locking collars in place until I know exactly where them bearings need to be in their hangers, so that's going to have to be done underneath. Yeah, progress. Jack must have dumped my wheelbarrow load of dirt out on the floor here, because all that was all over here when I was changing bearings, and somehow all that dirt come off the combine. I had it clean. I don't know where it came from. Alright, well that went in a lot easier than it came out. I'm just going to bolt in these brackets here, and then put our bearings on the outside. Okay, well, pretty successful day, I guess. We got that shoe auger drive out, bearings replaced and put back in, so I'm happy with that. I do got to get that one bracket for it yet. I got the bearings replaced on 3 of these shoe augers. I got one more to do, but I got to get out of here and get my boys tonight. So I'm going to head and do that. I put together a list of some more parts that we need to get. I'm probably going to make a trip to Godfrey's tomorrow. I am also going to take them this gearbox because we couldn't get that sprocket off. And so I can take them the parts that we got, and they can just rebuild it. I guess that's probably going to be the end of today's video. I don't know if I'll put one out tomorrow or not. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. With going to the dealer and some of this other stuff that I got going on, I'm not going to be working on this a whole lot. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and either I'll put out a short video from what I do tomorrow, or I'll save it and put it out with next Monday. So hope you guys have a good night, have a good weekend if I don't see you tomorrow, and yeah, we'll talk to you later. Hit the like, subscribe buttons, leave some comments. We'll talk to you later.